This was insane to witness as the Houston Rockets went on the road to take on the Los Angeles Lakers in a game that had huge playoff implications. And what happened in the game, you will not believe. Welcome in here to Rockets Digest. I'm Jace Andrews. And before we get going, if you're looking for a new spot for Rockets news, rumors, updates, we got you covered. Hit that subscribe button down below. Be one of the first 100 subscribers to join the Rockets Digest community. All right, let's talk about this game. And starting first with the Houston Rockets, they fall to the Los Angeles Lakers 104-98. And overall, the game was in the Rockets' favor until about the end of the third quarter. They had I'm not going to say substantial lead, but they had control of the game, and the stats were there. Amen Thompson leads the team with 20 points, 9 of those in the fourth quarter, and the fourth quarter was really a tell-all quarter in so many facets because the Rockets were lacking a close-out player, a player who can go out and close the game, whereas the Los Angeles Lakers had LeBron James, and in all reality, had some calls go their way as well. Tari Easton got a late technical for saying something after he dunked. Even the NBA broadcast crew on TNT didn't agree with the call, so that kind of tells you right there. And, I'm not going to sit here and say that the Lakers got better calls than the Rockets. That's not what I'm trying to do. The team stats, it's pretty even for fouls. You had 20 for Houston, 15 for LA. 2 technical fouls, though, for Houston, which it's not surprising. They have one of the most technical foul teams in the entire league. I think their coaches are the second most technical fouls. Their players have the first most technical fouls. I mean, overall, it's just kind of the way that the Rockets have played all season, but the defense was there. The field goal percentage for the Lakers was below 40%. They had to shoot a ton of shots, and they hit less than the Rockets. But ultimately, the Rockets lost this game. And it causes concern for the playoffs because you're going to play a team like this. And I know that the Los Angeles Lakers were on a streak. I mean, they've won like 25 out of the last 32. They're obviously doing well since the Luka trade. And at home, they've been almost unbeatable in that stretch. But at the same time, the Rockets have been in a great stretch as well. And 12 of 13 coming into this game, 13 of 14 after beating the Suns yesterday. But again, it's that back-to-back nights. It's so tough for the Rockets to win. And I hate to say it, but you kind of need that in some aspects when you get to the playoffs because there are going to be times where you're playing back-to-back nights. There are going to be times where you're going to have to go in and continuously keep playing, without an off day. You're going to have two home on the road and then 3 there and then 2 back. So you've got to find a way to kind of break through in some facet and win these back-to-back games that continue to be a struggle. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to talk about at the end of this game that really, I'm not going to say irked me or anything, but the Rockets had pretty good points off the bench. 15 from Jabari Smith, showing, hey, don't trade me. I'm a valuable asset. And then Tari Easton having 13 obviously was a great thing, but his technical foul, don't get into it. I don't think it was a technical foul. I don't think it was worthy of technical foul, and it got them a free point. Again, they won by 6, but there was at the same time, Dillon Brooks had the ball late with a chance to tie the game down by 3, 97-100, and they don't get anything. They turn the ball over. It's just mistakes that can't happen late in the game, and that's where the closeout guy isn't there. Also to mention, Fred VanVleet and Jalen Green did not play well tonight. Combined, they only got 6 completed field goals on what was 27 attempted field goal shots. 9 points for Jalen Green and 7 points for Fred VanVleet, which for guys that are labeled as the leaders of the team and quote unquote the leaders of this team going into, the late part of the game, we can't have that. That can't happen. Amen Thompson having 9 points in the fourth quarter was great, but I mean the Lakers just had a good game all around and 40 points off the bench. In some aspects, I don't think that you could even predict Dorian Finney-Smith shooting 6 for 11 from behind the arch. Oh yeah, and Gabe Vincent getting 6 for 13 behind the freaking 3-point line. I mean, I just can't believe that. You're going to have nights that people are going to go off shooting, but Dorian Finney-Smith and Gabe Vincent going over 50% basically for Dorian Finney and almost 50% for Gabe Vincent. Combined, they were right at 50% from behind the arch. It's just something you can't predict. And they kept hitting them. Like, they took a bunch of threes. They took a ton of threes. They took 46 3-point shots compared to the Rockets' 32. Now, they only hit 6 more, so the percentages was pretty close. Rockets had definitely a 31.3 clip, and a 34.8 clip for the Lakers outside of the art. But it's just mind-blowing that the Rockets have gotten to this point. They've gotten to a good point where they can beat the Lakers, and then Dorian Finney-Smith and Gabe Vincent go off. Players that you're not expecting. You're expecting Luka Doncic and LeBron James to be the ones to go off. And Luka had 20, and LeBron had 16. Like, those are not, bad numbers. Technically, Luka was tied for the lead in points. But that's just not the game you thought. And they played well. I'm not going to say that this is like a heartbreaking loss, because it's your second loss in the last 15 or so games. Like, it's fine. It's on the road. It's against a very good Lakers team that has been on a streak. You're going to have to play them again. I mean, looking at the upcoming schedule, you've got a game coming up against Utah. It's great. But after this Utah game on Wednesday, buckle up. Versus OKC in Houston, in Golden State, in Los Angeles for the Clippers and for the Lakers once again, and then you finish out the season in Denver. You have got to have closeouts in these games. These are going to be close games. And I hate to say it, but if I go back to that report that we talked about this win streak being against teams that were below 500, now it's your time to show that you can play with the big dogs. And you had done that in the beginning of the year. You had done that. You had beaten OKC. You had played well against the Cavs, beaten them. You had played well against the Celtics. But now it seems like you just can't beat the good teams. You're winning when you should, but you're losing these close games. And I'm not trying to have an overreaction here, because, again, it's one game. You're playing amazing right now, but you have got to be ready for what is coming. And, again, you can't predict a 6-for-11 night from Dorian Finney-Smith and a 6-for-13 night behind the arch from Gabe Vincent. However, you've got to be ready for any situation. And with these games coming up, you got to win on Wednesday. Get that free win, because the West is so cluttered. He's so cluttered. Rockets now just a 1.5 game lead over the Denver Nuggets. It's tight. I mean, I don't want to even hypothesize with this. But let's say you beat Utah, and then on your final, 5 games, let's say you go 2-3. I mean, there's a very real shot that you could fall down 4 spots potentially. Because right now, you're 1.5 games in favor of second place, but that doesn't mean anything when the 6th place team is only 5 games back at you with about 6 games left to go. Obviously, you feel good, but 2 and 4 are so close, and you play Los Angeles and you play Denver for what will be the final times this season, obviously, before the end of the season. Wins matter late, and I trust that Coach Ime Udoka knows that, but in this game, you just can't, honestly, you can't take it to heart. You got to think about it for a little bit tonight, understand that there was some plays made, that some silly mistakes. Obviously, you expect more from Jalen Green and Fred VanVleet, especially in a game of this caliber. Amen Thompson played well. He had 9 points in the fourth. Continue with that. But overall, you've got to buckle up. You play Utah on Wednesday, what I'm going to classify in what is a must-win game, because the schedule coming up is so competitive and tight. You've got to win that game against Utah so that you can look forward and see what is in front of you with OKC, Golden State, LA, and Denver. Got to lock in here. But again, still, you've only lost 2 games in the past 15. The Rockets are on a streak. They continue playing well for the most part. Just got to keep that in the back pocket. As you played well, the Lakers are a good team. You can't predict, again, the 50% clip from 2 bench players for the Los Angeles Lakers when they have Doncic and LeBron James. It's going to happen. Teams are just going to have good shooting nights, and honestly, the defense was well on everybody else, but it's a game of a couple points, especially when the defense was so tight in the first quarter. We appreciate you watching. If you've made it to the end of the video, hey, go down, hit that subscribe button. You obviously enjoy the content. We're putting out Rockets news, rumors, updates, all that and more. So hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time here on Rockets Digest.